Hi, and welcome to Across the Desk. This week, we're going to continue discussing 6 more bills that are going into the state legislature to hamper, harm, or otherwise be a detriment to the medical marijuana industry here in Oklahoma. Now, last week I talked about a whole bunch of bills that are going into the Oklahoma Legislature to throw that monkey in the wrench and just screw up the works when it comes to the medical marijuana industry. Well, here I'm going to highlight another 6 bills that are designed just to do that. And you know, all the bills I'm covering aren't even all the bills. There's even more out there, but I've only got enough time to do so much stuff. And I want to get on to other things. But today, this week, we're going to talk about 6 more bills. And let's start right off. Representative Kendricks with House Bill 3141 has a bill that right now how it is, you can get some of your permitting done and everything else, and you can still go for getting your license from the authority, the medical marijuana authority with the state. Well, this bill says that you're going to have to get all those requirements, fees, and permits in place before you can go for licensure. This is a lot of money. You're going to have to go to whoever it is, construction or water resource, municipality, county, all of them, health, whoever, food, drug, whatever. Need to have all those permits in place before you can go and apply for the license, which may be denied or not. Now, this bill, like all the others, are designed to hamper the medical marijuana industry. This is absolutely against that free market that they have always been railing about. They champion it, right? GOP does, conservatives and Republicans. They do it all the time. Well, except when it comes to the medical marijuana industry, and especially here in Oklahoma, because that's what you get with bills like that. And all these other bills, because the next bill I'm going to talk about is House Bill 3208, and it's from a Representative Cornwell. Well, the thing about Cornwell is he really wants to kill it off, because what he wants to do is declare a moratorium on new medical marijuana businesses. Now, basically what this is he wants, it's up to the discretion of the medical marijuana authority whether they allow anyone to have a license or not. And it's that way now, of course, but this goes further. It's like, hey, this allows the medical marijuana authority to put a permanent moratorium on new medical marijuana businesses until they deem fit, until the medical marijuana authority deems that it's okay to put out new licenses for businesses. I can see so many things going wrong with this. You don't think that the MMA isn't going to be pressured from legislators, from lobbyists, from the drug industry to not let any new licenses come available? You know they will. Maybe even other medical marijuana businesses within the industry may want to lobby to keep those licenses away from other people. This is totally unfree market. It's totally designed to kill the industry. I mean, this is absolutely designed to kill it. No new businesses whatsoever, unless the medical marijuana authority decides you can have one. Wow, that doesn't sound like conservative values that I hear about all the time. Which lets you know that anytime they spit off free market conservative, or any of this other stuff, I'm a capitalist, they're mostly just platitudes and bumper sticker slogans. Kind of like with Kevin Stitt saying, we're a top 10 state. Top 10? We're not even close. But anyway, going on. And the next bill I'm going to talk about, this one's pretty egregious. Now, last year I actually did a medical marijuana show. When they did this last year, same thing. And here we go. Here's a bill, House Bill 3461 by Representative Grego, and it is a carbon copy of one put in by Jim Olson last year. Now, see, last year, well, let's talk about this one. And I'll tell you the difference, because this one doesn't go as far as Jim Olson's was last year, because it was pretty harsh. 1,500 feet from a school or church. And that property, if it was a school or church, didn't actually need to be owned. It didn't even need to be rented. It could even be borrowed from someone. Like, a congregation member. Hey, man, I'm borrowing Jim's lot over here to put our church trailer on it. So since that church trailer's on Jim's lot, well, that medical marijuana business can't go in. And that's exactly what they're trying to do with that bill they tried to put in last year. Well, this year, Grego's trying it again with House Bill 3461. But this time, it's 1,000 feet. So you got 1,000 feet from a school, private school. Oh, he also throws in child care center. That's a big one too with a lot of these bills, because child care center, is it in there when it comes to schools or anything else, and how far away you need to have a medical marijuana business from it. So now they're throwing child care centers in all of these bills as well, including this one. So a child care center and a church, place of worship, synagogue, mosque or church, right? Anything. And the thing that gets it the most is that the property doesn't even need to be owned. It can even just be borrowed. Now, the thing about this bill this year from last year was it didn't have any time frames. It could just be borrowed any time. Now he's going, hey, it has to be borrowed at least 12 months. So, but you can do, who's going to know? Who's going to know if you're borrowed? It's not like you're going to go ask Jim, the congregation guy, for a contract written out. No, he's going to say it's going to be a handshake. Oh yeah, he's been borrowing this for however long I say it is. So you can see this bill is absolutely designed to be abused. Absolutely. It's designed to kill the medical marijuana industry in Oklahoma. How? Oh, well, you know, there's a church property over here, you can't have a medical marijuana business. There's a school property over here, can't have it. And they will come up with any reason that somebody has a property, borrowed or not, from a church, a school, or anything, as to why you can't have your business there. That's exactly what this law is designed to do. It is designed to squash anybody wanting to get in or out or anything else of the medical marijuana market, and that's what this is designed to do, which is so on the face when you see it, when you read what they want to do. It is so egregious. It's designed to be abused, absolutely. How are you going to know? How are you going to know? How are you going to know that Jim has borrowed or let the church borrow this property for a year? There's not going to be a contract. It's just going to be word of mouth, and they're going to have all, oh yeah, Jim and I, oh yeah, it's been a year. I got cooperation with this other guy I spit on my hand and took a handshake with. And that's how this is going to work. Totally crazy, totally outlandish, and just like the one last year, I hope this one dies. I hope they don't do anything with it or anything else. But moving on, here we go. Now we have a Senate Bill 1511 I'm going to talk about, and this is from Senator Rosino, and it's about the same thing as the last one. No commercial grow within 1,000 feet of a property line of a school or private school or facility, right? So this is another thing, because the law right now is the threshold, the door, the closest door of the school is where you measure from. Now they want to measure from the property line. See, we're adding in more and more feet here, so we can push more and more of these marijuana businesses out. And that's what this is designed to do, just like the last one. And then going on, here we go. Senator Bridgestorm, Senate Bill 1195. And what this does, it adds growers and processors to the law that's written, because it's a mandatory. But he also wants to remove the provision that's in here on schools. He also adds private schools, and again, there's that child care facility that they all want. Gotta be at least operation 30 hours a week in a child care facility and everything else. But this time, see, he takes out a provision, because right now, facilities that aren't instructional are not included in the limits of how far you can be away, like a ballpark or the administrative office that isn't at the school, right? So those aren't included. Well, in this bill by Bridgestorm, he takes that out. He wants ball fields, he wants those administrative offices that aren't even located at the school to be included in what you have to do to comply to be 1,000 feet from. And it's just ridiculous. And like I said, all these bills are designed to do one thing: squash the free market of the medical marijuana industry that they say they love so much. You know, because here we are, they're always like, let that free market decide, it'll weed them all out, it'll come back in, you know, all these other growers and stuff, the competition, let it do its thing. But they're just not doing that here, are they, when it comes to medical marijuana? It's kind of like they like to dish it. We love that free market. They just when they just, can't take it when it comes to like the medical marijuana industry. So you got them doing things like this, where Bridgestone actually wants to add in there, well, we're going to strike out the parts that say, ball fields and facilities like that. We're going to add those in. You can't be within 1,000 feet of those either. Yeah, what's that designed to do, right? And here we go. I want to talk about this last bill. And this is from a Representative Josh West. Now, Josh West, he has this bill, House Bill 3726. He also has another one on data privacy that he's worked with a guy who's been on my show, Representative Colin Walkie, and we've actually talked about the data privacy bill that they tried to push last year. I think they're going to try to do it again this year, and that's a good thing. But here we are with Josh West bringing out those conservative colors and coming out with a new law. This is a new law that pertains to medical marijuana, and in it, what he wants to do, it's called the Oklahoma Cap on Medical Marijuana Business Act. That's what it's called, Oklahoma Cap on Medical Marijuana Business Act. And this actually limits the number of businesses you can have when it comes to the medical marijuana industry. For instance, dispensaries. In this law, you can only have 2,000 in the state of Oklahoma. That's it. And we may have more than that now, and if we do, not a new license will be given to anybody for a dispensary until we get below 2,000 in the state of Oklahoma. And it goes on. Let me before I start talking about this, growers 5,000 limit, 5,000. Processors 1,000. That's it. You get 1,000 processors in the state of Oklahoma with this bill. That's it. Totally not free market. How is this a free market? You're only going to allow 2,000 dispensaries in the state of Oklahoma. It doesn't matter where they are. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if they're all in Oklahoma City. If somebody wants one in the Panhandle state, not going to happen. Because, we have 2,000 in the state. This is totally draconian. This is totally a power grab from the state on controlling the medical marijuana industry. It's totally not free market. Please, I would like to see anybody explain how any of this, any Republican out there, how is this free market? How does this shore up with those conservative values when it comes to that? When it comes to talking about the free market and capitalism? How does it do that? I don't see how it does. The whole thing, all these 6 bills are designed to do is to squash the medical marijuana industry that Republicans hate. We know they hate it and they want to get rid of it. And they really, obviously, don't care about what the people think. They don't. They don't care about the polling. They don't care about how popular it is. What they see is, we gerrymandered this so much, we're going to retain power. So however we can to screw up the works, we're going to do it. And we're not feeling any angst at all about losing our seats because, we gerrymandered it. We're pretty much going to stay. So that's why they feel comfortable about throwing bills in here that go way outside of any values they claim to have that is on the back end of their car on a bumper sticker. And that's what we get with these 6 bills here. Especially this one from Josh West. I can't believe it. One, you want to absolutely limit the number of businesses that can be in the state. Limit the number of tax dollars that can be potential. Not let the free market decide anything. That's one of the most egregious ones. Along with Grego, that one. That one, come on. You want to actually keep people from having a business if the property that's being used by a private school, a church, a synagogue, a mosque, or a child care facility is borrowed. And, it's got to be 12 months, but there's no way you can prove that. There's none, especially if it's borrowed. Come on, it's borrowed. There's not going to be a contract. There's not going to be anything for that. Those 2 laws there are probably the most egregious of what I'm talking about tonight. Probably the worst ones in here. Josh West, man, I really had some hopes for you when I saw the bipartisanship you were showing with Colin Walkie when it came to the Data Privacy Act. But this, limiting 2,000 dispensaries, 5,000 growers, and 1,000 processors, come on. That is so not what I would expect from a Republican that believes in the free market. Yeah, maybe he doesn't. Maybe he really doesn't believe in the free market. Maybe it's just a platitude, something he says to get votes. Because obviously, with these people, all of them, how is it free market? It just isn't. But here we go. Those 6 bills tonight, this week, right here, talking about how the Oklahoma GOP wants to squash the medical marijuana industry in Oklahoma. Man, I really hope they don't. I hope a lot of these bills really just don't make it out of committee. And we'll see. I don't know that I'll do a follow-up show on this, but man, go out there. Check these bills out on the legislature site. I put the website in the credits at the end. Go there, check these out, and send these guys emails. They got email links to the legislature site. Tell them how crazy you think some of these laws are, and that they shouldn't be doing this to our medical marijuana industry that we just grew here in Oklahoma. Well, this is Across the Desk with Kit Fairchild, and we'll see you next week.